Hi everybody, welcome back to YouTube. I'm Doug Miles. This next interview I'm presenting today is one with one of the great radio personalities in the business, Dick Heatherton. If you've lived in New York or LA, I know you've heard his voice many, many times, but he's been a very popular voice around the country on voiceovers and commercials for many, many years. And now he's branched out into a very successful career as a motivational speaker. On a side note, I had a chance to work with Dick Heatherton's dad, Ray Heatherton, up in New York when I started doing radio. Back in college at Adelphi University, he hosted a weekly radio program called The Breakfast Club. And those of you remember Ray Heatherton also, back in the television days in the 50s and 60s, as the Merry Mailman. And of course his daughter, Dick's sister, a wonderful entertainer, Joey Heatherton. But this interview is featured with Dick Heatherton, great radio personality. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more of my interviews here on YouTube.
And I know it's so difficult when you hear these things, you say, well, yeah, you're doing it because you're succeeding. No, I failed. I was down on the ground. I couldn't do anything. It's like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? You know, when you start getting a recipe that, you know, you've got cancer, that is not good. So what I did was that in the background, that's my cell phone. So,
that's all right. I've heard that song there.
What I did find out is, you know, even with the cancer, I discovered that distraction plus resistance equals scattered potential and a lot of stress.
Yep.
It is so rough to try to get away from distraction. I'm sure what I'm saying right now, intellectually, mentally, people are saying, well, hey, sure, not to worry about it. I can do that. Yeah, or this is a lot of nonsense. Because it's so easy to accept distraction. Well, I'm going to get home, maybe I'll watch the O'Reilly Factor, or maybe Overman, or maybe I'll give a listen tonight to WSRQ, some of the sports, yeah. I got so many things to do. When it comes to what we really want, we can find more obstacles, more roadblocks. But if you can put aside the distraction, if you can put aside the resistance, which causes scattered potential, and really, really do it, it's almost like you're thinking yourself, if you just take the time for yourself. Just go into a room by yourself. I don't care if you want to call it meditating. You want to think of something just beyond the daily troubles. If you could do this for 21 days, you'll get $100,000. Guess what? You do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you have $100,000, you know, a feeling of $100,000, that can lead you to possibly making $100,000 or getting out of the situation that you're in. Feeling down, whether it's financial, whether it's romantic, whether it's business, it doesn't matter. So, you know, you think that $100,000, wow, that's great. Now, does that sound like a con game? Of course it sounds like a con game, but guess what? Think of the con game that you put yourself in, like, oh, everything's lousy. I'm not going to be able to do it. I've got a lousy relationship. I've got bills like you cannot believe. No one's going to understand my situation. Well, guess what? When you finally get out of it, then you realize it is a con game. So why not do a positive con game? Do it. And it doesn't just happen automatically. It's not a matter of something that's goody two-shoes, that's just saying that, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this, but beneath it all, you're saying, oh, this is a lot of nonsense. This is a lot of crap. You have to get to that point and realize, just release. There's nothing more that you can do, that you have to surrender. And that's another one of my talks, the surrender solution. And surrender is not giving up. Surrender is the exact opposite. Giving up is saying no more, I quit, I can't do anything else. Surrender is the acceptance of a new beginning. You've got to do that. Think of that $100,000 feeling. What do you want? It's like going back to what I was talking about, that study from the University of San Francisco. When people tell you got a new lease on life, you need to do this so you can enjoy your life, and you're accentuating the positive, that it's really going to work. These are some of the things that I talk about in the success strategies for 21st century change.
I think you just boil it down. You said before, passion. You go back just from a showbiz angle. Remember George Burns used to say, you know, fall in love with what you do, you know. And if you do, it's not going to be work. I think that's the bottom line, isn't it?
But the problem is, many times we have fallen out of love. And you see, the thing is, we're beginning to find out today in this world of so much change that you can't even hold on to the same job that you had for many years. I was at CBS for 14 years in New York. Today in radio, that's unheard of. In fact, in business, It's now looked upon, if you're at any particular business in any particular position for more than 2 years, they figure that, well, this person's not going to be able to change. They're inflexible. This is the new world that we live in. So if you're still doing the same thing the same way, you're only kidding yourself. And you may think that it's a bunch of nonsense, but believe me, if you're feeling good about it, that you have found the dream of your life in the work that you're doing or whatever, then fine. But not a lot of people have that. And you have to accept that change. And you have to allow yourself to look for that change. What do you really want? Without the distraction and the resistance, which leads to scattered potential and a lot of stress.
Talking with Dick Heatherton, and you can go to dickheatherton.com, by the way, if you want more information on what Dick's talking about today, and you can contact him through there. But you make a good point there. Just like you said, passion is the key, and like you said, you have to almost be an entrepreneur now with your career. There is no job. My dad was with the same company 45, 46 years. Those days are gone. So you're going to have to learn to be an entrepreneur nowadays, no matter what field you're in, right?
Well, absolutely. And I saw that wonderful tribute to your dad on your website.
Oh, yeah, thanks very much, yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. And, I mean, in many ways, those were the wonderful days where, your dad and other people could work, for a place for 40 years, and there was a contract. There was a pact that if you did a good job, kept your nose clean, you're going to be taken care of. Nowadays, it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore, and unfortunately, because business, the way business is set up today, where it keeps on moving, keeps on downsizing, you don't have the same benefits. That the thing is, you have become your own business, and you got to run yourself like your own business. That's the way it is. You need to plug in. The thing is, we all have the ability to do this, but it's like a refrigerator. What good is a refrigerator if it's not plugged in? You got to plug in yourself. And here's just one simple thing that I think might be, worth considering, and that is, if you're looking to make some changes, would you speak to friends, Doug?
I would.
Let me make a suggestion. Don't speak to friends. And here's a couple of reasons why. When you're speaking to a friend knows you, and they want to protect you. So in many ways, they are not going to be telling you the complete truth. That's number one. Friends, on the other hand, when you're trying to do something and maybe getting ahead, and I hate to say it as part of human nature, people, though they love you and they respect you and admire you, they don't want to see you get ahead because it makes them feel unworthy. What I'm suggesting is speak to not so much friends, but acquaintances, because acquaintances, though they are familiar with you, they're not intimately familiar with you, and not only that, they have a broad outside network. They see what else is going on, and they will give you a much more honest answer to help you make your change.
Well, I grew up in New York, Dick, and my friends are from New York, so they tell me what they think. Maybe it's different if you grew up in New York, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I understand.
But yeah, no, I agree. If you you don't want to be around a bunch of yes people. I understand that point.
No, and it's a good thing. Unfortunately, I'm originally from New York, but a lot of people, especially the Sarasota, Bradenton area, some from New York, from the Midwest, and life is a little bit different. And also, a lot of their friends have moved on to other places. So what you have to do is, in many ways, you have to rely more on yourself as well as the acquaintances.
Again, go to dickheatherton.com, and the contact information is there as well. And just again, I wanted to just tell you again, nice words about my dad. I always enjoyed my time, brief time as it was, working with your dad on that radio show. Great class guy in his own right, did Broadway, and of course the Merry Mailman show. I know some of our audience remembers that as well. So that was one of the great thrills early in my broadcasting career. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Doug. I really appreciate it.
And Dick, good to talk to you. We will talk to you again soon. Thanks for being with us.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Doug.
We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back.